And I married someone that was, I always tell guys when they meet a woman, Jay Leno built his career on being the nice guy. Clean jokes, family values, loyal husband, but a rumor followed him for 40 years. An affair that could have destroyed everything. Leno always denied it completely. Now at 75, as he cares for his wife with dementia, he's changing his story. The rumor was partially true. He admits his memoir will reveal details that shock Hollywood. The confession involves someone who meant more to him than anyone knew. America's favorite host had a secret worth millions. Jay Leno was born on April 28, 1950 in New Rochelle, New York. His home was full of two very different sounds. His mother, Catherine, came from Scotland and often sang lullabies in a heavy accent. His father, Angelo, worked in insurance and was always talking fast, trying to close sales. Catherine had come to America alone at the age of 11. She didn't speak any English when she arrived, but she'd promised herself that her kids would learn how to work hard. Angelo once drove through 3 different states in one day just to make his sales quota. At night, their house was full of stories and songs. Young Jay sat at the table listening closely. By the time he was 7, he had memorized his father's entire sales pitch and would perform it for the neighborhood kids. He even used fake insurance charts and made a few nickels doing it. He learned early that working hard and being funny could both earn you something. He also decided he would never live off just one paycheck. Jay had trouble in school. Teachers thought he was slow. He couldn't read well and often got words mixed up. He didn't know it at the time, but he had dyslexia. In 1st grade, he struggled with basic phonics. In 5th and 8th grade, he had to repeat the whole year. In 1968, a guidance counselor told him to drop out, but instead of breaking down, Jay made a joke. He copied the man's serious voice and switched all the letters around. His classmates laughed, and he got detention, but it lit a fire in him. He began writing jokes every single night. He filled entire notebooks and forced himself to read them backward, hoping it would help his brain. At 17, he snuck into the school's announcement booth and played a fake weather report, warning about teacher layoffs. He got suspended for 3 days, but the prank became school legend, and Jay realized that even his reading problem could become a comedy weapon. When Jay was 14, he got a job at Tony's Pizza in Andover, making $125 an hour. He wasn't allowed to use his dad's shiny Buick, so he drove a worn-out Dodge tow-deliver pizzas. He had to make each delivery in under 20 minutes. So he started calling the customers first, pretending to be a concerned dad, asking if Jay had arrived yet. That way, they'd be waiting at the door. It saved time. While driving, he practiced punchlines in the rearview mirror. He rated each joke on a clipboard stained with pizza grease. In February 1966, during a snowstorm, he showed up at a college party with 2 pizzas. He asked to trade them for 5 minutes on stage. He joked about anchovies and snow chains. "Excuse me. Can I have the key to the washroom?" "Yeah, here it is." "It's on this big ring, and don't try to steal it." He made $22 in tips, his first paid comedy gig. Tony wasn't happy and told him to stop messing with the menu. Leno, the pelican-faced comedian. But the moment stuck with Jay. Also in 1964, Jay entered a talent show at the local YMCA. He tried to imitate his idol, Rodney Dangerfield. He even put cold cream on his face to mimic Rodney's sweaty look. But when a stage light hit him, the cream made him look like a clown. The crowd thought he was mocking Rodney and started booing. Jay panicked and ran off stage, knocking over the microphone and breaking the sound system. He had borrowed $5 from his brother Patrick to enter, but now he had to pay it back. That night, Hap played the sound of the boos over and over exactly 47 times. He told himself he would only continue if he could come up with his own material. In 1969, Jay got into Emerson College in Boston. They only accepted him because the founder felt bad about his dyslexia. He chose speech therapy as his major, but mostly skipped class. Every night he went to a small open mic at a strip mall cafe. On November 12, 1969, another comic stole one of Jay's jokes about a Scottish-French teacher. Jay was so angry he jumped on stage and fought the guy outside. The crowd started yelling, "Read him his vows." Campus police showed up but didn't arrest anyone. Jay chipped a front tooth during the fight, which gave him Thatchin forward look that later became part of his image. The school threatened to expel him, but Jay offered to start an official comedy club instead. That club still exists today. After graduating in 1973, Jay moved to Los Angeles with just $350 and a rusty Chevy. He slept on the couch of fellow comedian Timerson and only got to perform at 2 a.m. for free. Mitty Shaw, who ran the Comedy Store, didn't like his clean-cut style and banned him for 6 months. To survive, Jay performed in pizza places and even did comedy at a topless lounge inside the Aladdin Casino for $40 a night. David Letterman helped him get back into the Comedy Store in 1974, but Jay never forgot how Mitty treated him and later refused to perform there for decades. Jay got his first shot on The Tonight Show on March 2, 1975. He was supposed to have 5 minutes, but Johnny Carson told the band to stall and cut Jay down to 3. Jay was angry and argued with Carson backstage. Carson warned him not to push it. The producers smoothed things over, but Jay's performance was shelved and didn't air until May. That 9-week delay felt like forever to a hungry 24-year-old comic. Between 1973 and 1976, Jay dated 5 different women who all had the same birthday. September 5th, he joked that it was like dating the same person in 5 wigs. He even got called Mr. Virgo Vortex by a gossip columnist. Jay became obsessed with asking people their birthdays, which led to stranger rumors in Hollywood. Then on April 30, 1976, Jay met Mavis Nicholson at the Comedy Store. He was rushing to the bathroom and bumped into her by accident. They talked near a broken urinal. After the show, he saw her again near the ladies' room and asked for her birthday. When she said September 5th, Jay burst out laughing. They went to eat chili that night. Their first real date didn't happen until August because Jay was doing over 300 shows and driving 52,000 mi that year. They made it work. In 1978, Jay got a small part in the movie American Hot Wax, playing a driver named Mookie. He was paid $5,000 and filmed for 10 weeks. The movie flopped, making only $2.2 million against a $6 million budget. A producer told him to stick Tostined up. The movie failure and a pay strike at the Comedy Store sent Jay into a slump. He thought about selling his old 1955 Buick and becoming a mechanic. But on October 6, 1979, he performed for 2,800 people in Denver. The show sold out, and that night, he decided to stick with comedy forever. On November 3, 1980, Jay and Mavis got married. They picked the date to match his parents' anniversary. The wedding was small, held at a friend's house. Their relationship had started back in January 1976, but it wasn't love at first sight. Mavis had come to the club just to meet people for her writing career. But she liked Jay's look and said he was gorgeous. Their marriage was based more on loyalty than romance. They believed in being there for each other in sickness and in health. That turned out to be very important, especially after Mavis was diagnosed with dementia in 2024. Jay's career really took off when he became the regular guest host for Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show in 1986. He was careful, though. He acted like he wasn't trying to take Carson's job. But secretly, he met with NBC bosses and worked behind the scenes to become the next host. This plan worked. On May 25, 1992, something happened in Hollywood that felt like a betrayal to many. Jay Leno took over The Tonight Show, but the way he got that seat shocked people across the industry. Everyone had expected David Letterman to be the next host. Even Johnny Carson, who had ruled late-night TV for decades, wanted Letterman to take his place. In fact, during his final years, Carson would often send Letterman monologue jokes. But NBC made a different choice. They gave it to Leno, who had been Carson's regular guest host. Carson didn't hide his disappointment. He didn't mention Leno at all during his final episodes. Later, he even went on Letterman's CBS show twice, which many believed was a clear message. Letterman felt deeply betrayed. In June 1993, he left NBC and started his own show on CBS. That whole transition was so bitter that people inside the business called it a loyalty test. Leno had to pick sides, and many felt he turned on people who helped him. It gave him a new image, someone willing to do whatever it took, even if it meant burning bridges. Leno's first night as host didn't go well. His debut episode aired on May 25, 1992, and it was a disaster. Many celebrities who loved Johnny Carson refused to show up. Leno was left calling agents, almost begging them to send guests. Ratings were terrible. NBC panicked, and behind the scenes, things were worse. Leno's longtime manager, Helen Kushnick, had started secretly blacklisting stars while went on other shows like Arsenio Hall. This made enemies fast. Just 4 months later, on September 20, 1992, NBC showed up at Lowe's house. They gave him a choice: fire Helen or lose the show. They told him she was hurting his career. That early mess nearly ended everything before it really began. By 1993, Jay Leno found a new path, making jokes about O.J. Simpson. From the murder case to the courtroom drama, Leno turned it all into comedy. He made more O.J. jokes than about anyone else, even Michael Jackson or Martha Stewart. He created a strange dance skit called The Dancing Ittos, using people dressed like Judge Lance Itto. He even spoofed the murder case with the Gilligan's Island theme. David Letterman stayed away from those jokes, saying the case was too serious. But Leno went full speed, turning tragedy into nightly laughs. Some people thought it was too much. They said he had crossed a line, making comedy out of death. But the ratings went up. That success came at a price. Critics said late-night comedy had become cruel. In July 1995, something unexpected saved Leno's image. Hugh Grant was arrested for being with a prostitute named Divine Brown. It was a huge scandal. Still, Grant kept his booking on The Tonight Show. On July 10th, he walked out alone. No handlers, no spin doctors. Leno looked him in the eye and asked, "What the hell were you thinking?" Grant didn't dodge the question. He admitted he made a huge mistake that night. The show pulled in massive ratings. Leno later told his wife that he felt dirty for using Grant's shame for laughs. But it worked. People loved the honesty. Just a few months before that, in September 1992, Leno had already made a tough move. He fired Helen Kushnick, the woman who had helped him rise for 17 years. NBC forced his hand. She had been blackballing stars, and it became too risky to keep her. The moment she was out, she sued. The fight was ugly. But by 1999, Leno's show was getting 5 million viewers every night and beating Letterman in their ratings. That firing showed the world how far Leno would go to stay on top. In 2004, NBC made a big announcement. They said Conan O'Brien would take over The Tonight Show in 2009. It seemed like a peaceful plan, but secretly, Leno was setting something else up. While telling everyone he supported Conan, Leno was making deals with NBC for a new show at 1000 p.m. That meant this show would air right before Conan's, pulling away viewers. People were stunned. It looked like he was trying to ruin Conan's chances while smiling in public. This move broke an unspoken rule in television. It felt sneaky. It also took away a third of NBC's prime time lineup, something that shocked the entire TV world. When Leno said goodbye on May 29, 2009, many believed it was for real. He cried on camera and said he was the luckiest guy in the world. But just 4 months later, in September 2009, he was back with The Jay Leno Show. His farewell was nothing more than an act. That first night back pulled over 18 million viewers. But the illusion was broken. Critics said Leno faked his emotions just to get sympathy, then turned around and crushed his replacement. Then things got worse. In January 2010, private emails leaked from NBC. Executives wanted to move Leno back to 11:35 p.m. and push Conan to 12:05 a.m. It was a major blow. The email 7 showed Leno's team mocking Conan, calling him unfunny. One executive, Jeff Zucker, warned Conan he'd be iced for 2 years if he didn't accept. That led to Conan's famous People of Earth letter where he said no and blamed Leno directly. Conan told his staff, "I know how hard I worked for this. It was promised to me. I had a shitty lead in. NBC ended up paying millions to settle the mess, and it split the comedy world down the middle." During this storm, something strange came out. In a 2014 interview, Leno revealed that all 5 women he had lived with, including his wife Mavis, were born on September 5th. He even said he could sense people with that birthday. He claimed he asked Mavis about it the moment they met. This odd pattern became a joke on other shows. People started wondering if Lowe's obsession with control extended to his personal life, too. Back in 2006, Leno took someone to court for stealing his jokes. He sued Judith Brown, a book publisher, for using his material. The case settled in 2008, but during the process, something unexpected happened. Other comedians accused Leno of taking jokes himself. It exposed a darker side of comedy where stealing lines was more common than fans realized. Leno said he wanted to protect joke writing as an art, but not everyone bought that. The legal battle cost about $1 million and made people question his nice guy image. Conan himself would later face a similar